There are over 391,000 children and youth currently in foster care. These children have already experienced such sadness, such as abandonment, mistreatment, torture, and things that they have seen that are absolutely just horrendous. You would think going into a new family would be a bright, happy, exciting, loving time, but for this person, it was not. All these sweet, innocent children yearn for is parents to love them, a stable home, and a happy life that every child deserves. Stay tuned as we dive deep into a case about a sweet little innocent boy who all he wanted was to be loved. And sadly, the people that he entrusted to do so, to take over his life, to be his new parents, and give him a life that he always wanted, did the complete and utter opposite. While you would think that children in foster care are in a much better situation than they were previously, sometimes that's not the case. 5-year-old Landon Maloberti craved a home with happiness, affection, and parents to love him. Sadly, when Lauren and Jacob Maloberti adopted him, he got the exact opposite.
A married couple in Pennsylvania who raised thousands in online donations following the death of their 5-year-old son will no longer be able to profit off of the boy's death. Lauren and Jacob Maloberti have been arrested and charged in the boy's death. 5-year-old Landon loved to sing country music and play with monster trucks. He wanted to live a happy life like every other kid, and most importantly, he wanted to be loved. Sadly, this sweet little boy died a torturous death at the hands of his adoptive parents. The Malobertis were taken into custody on July 27th. Jacob Maloberti, who works as a corrections officer at Fayette State Correctional Center, was charged with 1 count of each of criminal homicide, endangering the welfare of children, and criminal conspiracy, as well as 2 counts of aggravated assault of a child. Lauren Maloberti is facing the same charges as her husband, plus 1 count of first-degree murder. According to a press release from the Westmoreland County District Attorney's Office, the investigation into the Malobertis began on the evening of Monday, January 30th of 2023, when they brought an unconscious Landon to an AHN Hempfield neighborhood hospital. Due to the severity of his condition, the child was later transported to the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, UPMC, Children's Hospital for more specialized care. Sadly, Landon ultimately succumbed to his injuries and pronounced dead just over a week later on the evening of February 7th. The county medical examiner determined that the little boy's manner of death was a homicide. Landon had blunt force trauma to his head and neck, blunt force trauma to his torso, and blunt force trauma to his extremities. Landon also had prolonged and intensive medical interventions prior to his death and multiple bruises in different stages of healing. All of this abuse and torture happened at the 200 block of East Pittsburgh Street in Delmont. Investigators spoke with the Malobertis and their other children, and police said they identified multiple inconsistencies between the children's and Lauren Maloberti's version of events. Jacob's versions of events also did not match what his wife told investigators, according to a criminal complaint. Lauren Maloberti's various reasons for her son's injuries did not make sense based upon the medical evidence. It was stated that Landon's parents waited a full day after suffering his fatal injuries before seeking medical care for the boy. Furthermore, medical staff at the hospital reportedly told investigators that when the couple arrived at the facility, they appeared to show no urgency, and they said that Landon was just wobbly from COVID a month prior. Despite the parents' alleged claims, UMPC doctors reportedly found that Landon had actually suffered 3 separate bleeds in his brain. Additional facts came to light about Landon's condition, saying he lived a very tough life prior to his death. One of the doctors at UPMC physician noted that Landon had multiple episodes of physical abuse in combination with at least 2 types of emotional maltreatment, she said. His injuries caused substantial pain at the time they were inflicted, with impairment of function, including inability to stand, eat, or drink, and loss of consciousness. In a law enforcement interview with one of Landon's siblings, identified by his initials KD, the sibling said Landon was made to sleep on the living room floor and monitored by his parents with a camera. Landon was allegedly also the only one of the 6 children routinely spanked by the parents with an open hand or wooden spoon because Landon, in quotes, does not learn his lesson, the brother told police. They had said that the mother allegedly gets more angry as she beats Landon. Sometimes the parents used a spray bottle to spray liquid on the child, the sibling alleged to the authorities. The couple often repeatedly expressed their disdain towards Landon in text messages about the 5-year-old, investigators alleged in the criminal complaints. In one alleged exchange, Landon Maloberti said she was going to kill her son. In conversations with former co-workers, she used the word hate to describe her feelings toward the 5-year-old, adding that she complained her adopted son was hard to love because he was so difficult and he was a constant struggle. Beginning in April of 2022, Landon Maloberti had forbidden Landon's biological grandmother, whom from pictures on Facebook it seems like they had a very close relationship, from seeing him because he was misbehaving, and she was jealous that Landon told the grandmother he loved her and did not say the same thing to her. I wonder why. Landon had a history of being mistreated by caregivers prior to his adoption, police said, but both police and the district attorney's office declined to speak to that history. Landon does have 5 other siblings. However, the welfare of Landon's 5 siblings were kept at private, noting that they wanted to respect their privacy. Even though Landon was exhibiting signs of illness in late January, losing consciousness and throwing up, Landon Maloberti allegedly waited an entire day before taking him to the hospital, and the delay was detrimental to his health, according to criminal complaints. Before heading to the hospital on January 30th, Landon's parents washed off the vomit from his unconscious body, according to the criminal complaints. At the hospital later that day at around 6:30 p.m., Landon Maloberti gave her son's name as Landon Ellenberger, his name before adoption. In front of hospital staff, she worried out loud that she would be blamed for her son's injuries and blamed his condition on repeating falling due to COVID. While Landon was in the hospital, the Malobertis had the balls to create a GoFundMe campaign to raise money after our precious baby boy went unresponsive. The fundraising campaign, which raised about $5,200, has since been taken down. Truly, what sick pieces of crap these people are. They take a child in who all he wanted was parents to love him and give him a stable, happy home and life, and instead they beat him to death, literally, which is already absolutely heartbreaking enough because these losers were adopting just to get the money. And I say this because then, while Landon's fighting for his life in the hospital, these lowlifes had the balls to put up a GoFundMe to make more money. There's a special place in hell for these monster disgraces. Thankfully, GoFundMe screeched the brakes on this asinine, selfish, and evil scam, and in the statement to people on Tuesday, the GoFundMe website said that they have zero tolerance for the misuse of our platform, and we cooperate with law enforcement investigations of those accused of wrongdoing. The fundraiser has been removed from our platform, and donors may request a refund via the GoFundMe giving guarantee. According to the complaints, investigators observed the numerous bruises covering Landon's body, including one in the shape of fingers grabbing Landon by the armpit. They also noted significant bruising, severe, all over his body, and a cut by his left eye. The next day, after Landon had been brought to the hospital, sadly he had no brain activity. Investigators found children's and adult clothes as well as towels damp with vomit in the Maloberti house. Additionally, the camera used to monitor Landon had been ripped from the wall, and investigators allege that Jacob Maloberti, a corrections officer at the State Correctional Institution of Fayette, removed the camera amidst law enforcement interviews at the hospital, according to the criminal complaints. The Malobertis are currently being held in Westmoreland County Prison without bond, as they should be. They should never see the light of day again. They are scheduled to appear in court again on August 8th. Well, guys, that's it for now in this case. As soon as they appear back in court and more details come to light about this case, I'll be posting it. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay safe, and much love.